started by two brothers and a sister of the Carlston family. They started a company called Broderbund Software in the Bay Area. And Broderbund Software was one of the first companies to put out computerized educational games. You might remember their first was Where in the World Are You, Carmen, San Diego. And so when they started the company, they also started a 501c3 within the company. And they funded it with a percentage of their profits, and they encouraged their employees to go out into the Bay Area and volunteer for their charities of choice. And they could come back, give grants for their charities. And in the late 90s, they went through a hostile takeover. They had to sell the company, but they were allowed to keep the endowment that they had created over the years. So the family got together and said, what are we going to do with this money? And because several of them were teachers, mostly in higher education, they said, let's do something for high school teachers in California. And they set some parameters because they wanted their teacher award to be something different from other teacher awards. So they said, first of all, these teachers must teach in high-need, highly culturally diverse areas with a minimum of 50% of their students on free and reduced lunches. And they must be nominated by former students who are either currently enrolled in a four-year university or graduated from a four-year university. The idea being, if these teachers could teach in difficult situations and produce academically skilled kids who could compete in higher education, then we knew we had some people who were good. So they said, let's not just take one student's idea of what a good teacher is, let's make it multiple students. So when a nomination comes in, I go after probably 6 or 7 more students who span the career of that teacher, because I want to know if the teacher's been teaching for 15 years, are they as good as they were now as they were 15 years ago? I interview those kids, I interview the principal, I interview 2 colleagues, and then I interview the teacher. And by then I know more about the teacher than the teacher knows about themselves. But what I'm looking for is, from what the kids tell me about what it's like to be in their classroom and how well prepared they are for college and what skills they have that they took there to make that transition easier, I want to see if that teacher tells me the same thing. I want to know that that teacher thinks about teaching the same way the kids receive their instruction. And I think, and I can say with much humility, that we select extraordinary teachers every year. And each year we select 5. I get probably 100 nominations a year. I break it down to 10 finalists that I give to the board. And by the way, I go watch them all teach too, to make sure that what I have read about and heard about, I see in the classroom. And I give the board 10 candidates. They select 5, and each of those 5 gets a total of $20,000. They get $15,000 for their personal use and $5,000 as a grant to their school. And by the way, teacher gets to determine where that money goes. It can't go in any other general fund. So I want to make that perfectly clear. Tonight we're here to honor Carmen Garvis. Because I interview so many students, several years ago I looked at about 1,000 of the interviews that had been done over several years, trying to pull out the common characteristics of the teachers we have honored over the years. And as I did that, I came up with a list of about 29, and then I went out and read as much as I could on teacher effectiveness, and everything that these kids came up with was in the research. So they are the best people to determine who are the best teachers. And so I'm going to read you a few comments, and I can take the 10 profiles that I give to the board and publish them every year and have a book that would tell you what to look for in great teachers. But let me just read a couple of comments that the kids said about Carmen. I better have my glasses. What I remember most about Miss Jarvis was how calm and energetic she was. We could tell how much she enjoyed what she was doing. She was funny, but also very demanding. She wanted to make sure we truly understood the material before we moved on to the next concept. Because of all the guidance and support I received from Ms. Jarvis during high school, I felt much better prepared to handle the free time and lack of structure when I got to college. She taught me the value of focusing on my academics. She helped me learn how to study efficiently and balance my time. Ms. Jarvis put me on the right track at the right time in my high school career. She never let up on me and kept heading me in the right direction. She is the teacher I hope to be when I finally have my own classes. Another student said, my experiences with Ms. Jarvis were very special and dear to me. Walking into her class, I felt immediately accepted by her. She was friendly, welcomed me with a smile, and made a point to speak to me directly. I quickly became connected to her because of who she was and who she is. I was blessed to be in her class. Ms. Jarvis provided a safe place for me to develop and become the better version of myself. What I remember most about her was what she did in her classroom and how she made me and all of my classmates feel comfortable with who we were. She created a safe classroom environment and encouraged me to take risks. She specifically helped me to mature and develop my confidence in myself. Because of her approach to teaching and her ability to develop the relationships with her students, I really knew and understood the material she was teaching. And I was never afraid of being wrong because she made the classroom such a safe place to be that we could all take risks. And the other thing that was unique about Ms. Jarvis was her ability to assess the many different ways her students learned, and then to teach the material in ways that reached students in ways they were most comfortable learning it. Who better to tell you what a great teacher is? So it is my honor to present Carmen with a $5,000 grant for Sanger High School.
What an honor it is for me to teach in this district. I love the students, I love my coworkers, my administrators. I've been given the gift, the greatest gift of being able to be in a career that I can make a difference. I can make a difference in their foundation that make them grow into something better and better. And it is an honor to be part of the Sanger family. It's absolutely incredible. Thank you.
I know how hard you work.
Thank you. It's only like that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's our pleasure.
Thank you.